Let's go.
Said it's your boy, P Original, Mr. Influential. Hot topic conversation, stimulate your mental. Two cool brothers, same father, same mother. If you're looking for a show like this, you'll never find another. Why? Cause it's the Porch Podcast to come on. Yeah, said it's the Porch Podcast. Yup, said it's the Porch Podcast to come on. Yeah, said it's the Porch Podcast.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Porch Podcast. Welcome to the Porch Podcast. It's your boy, DJ E, Mr. Influential, and I'm rocking with my brother, man.
P Original, baby. You know what I mean? Welcome back, as we say each and every week. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate you.
All right,
You know what I mean?
You did that like a commercial a little bit.
Yeah. We ain't selling nothing, but you know, hey, you know, we just so glad that they can be back to join us. Hey, man, y'all know how we kick this thing off each and every week, man. We like to check in with each other. While we checking in with y'all, we like to check in with each other.
Right.
You know what I mean? E, how's your week, man?
Good, man. Good. Busy, but it was a good week. You know, it was a really good week, man. All week's been good lately. I think just the direction that I had my energy in, but I think it was a nice week. The weather was nice. What you think about the weather? Like
Weather was good, man.
It got hot. It got hot some days.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
At one point or another, man, we had to cut the AC on.
I had my AC on a couple times already this year, man.
Had to cut the AC on, bruh. So that's how nice it was.
Yeah.
You know, for my wife, you know, she's never in a rush to have that come on.
Nah.
You know, but I just, babe, you know,
Yeah.
I laid down. I think I'm gonna say it was might have been either Friday night or Saturday night.
Right.
I was laying in the bed Friday night.
Right.
2:30. Technically, right. Saturday morning, 2:30 in the morning.
Right.
For those who don't know, I sleep with a scuba mask on CPAP.
Yeah, you gotta put the
Nah, babe. I start talking just like you hear me talk.
Yeah.
Nah. I can't breathe right.
Yeah.
Got up, went to the bathroom. Thought something was wrong. I'm up here trying to remember what I ate. Hey, look, I know I had some popcorn before I went to bed. I'm like, there wasn't no hot cheese from around the way.
Nah, but sometimes it's just
I'm telling you what it was for me, with that heat, man.
Like, yeah, the heat, that's what I'm saying. But it flares up foods too sometimes like that when you're hot like that. But you know what was one of my favorite things? Because I had multiple favorite things. But one of my favorite things this week was my oldest niece's senior piece. We got to go ahead and clap it up for that.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah. That was a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, man. Capstone this week, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. For those who ain't know, yeah. Oldest daughter getting ready to walk up out of that joint, man. Mm-hmm. You know, with her education ready to rock and roll. And like he said, man, she put together a really good, dance piece. They call them capstones.
Yeah. Well, capstones is part of a lot of majors. It's part of your major when you go to college. I had to do it when I got my degree.
Absolutely.
I had to do a capstone. Yeah, but I wasn't dancing though.
Yeah, I mean, you went in the dance program,
right?
So,
exactly.
You don't be dancing, but she, as well as all the other people. I already seen the video. I got the video already. Got it last night, so I was happy about that. And then my youngest daughter was also able to be on stage with her, so it was a real, full circle moment because of the fact that I know that the dance thing, even though her sister kicked it off some years before. There was only a few rare occasions where they ever even shared the stage together. Obviously, because of the gap, and it was great. It was great. You know what I mean? Did a little part for, their mother and
her best
friend, and then did another part that was more geared towards
her little sister.
Her little sister. You know what I mean? And then the last part was actually geared towards me, and it was dope. I mentioned my mom actually named it after our, our late great mother, you know what I mean? One of her sayings that she liked to say all the time: "Don't count the days, make the days count." She called the piece "Don't Count the Days." Yeah. So it was awesome. That was super dope. You're absolutely right, bro. That was Friday. Going into Saturday, like I said, you heard what I said. You know what I mean? Sauna. Chest going crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I got through that situation, and then Saturday. What did we wind up doing on Saturday?
I had a little gig.
The other part had to move her out, because like I said, it's her last year, so show Friday night, Saturday. You know what I mean? Had to get all that stuff up out of that dorm room.
Yeah.
So she's back home.
That's still a nice looking university too.
It is, man.
You know, I never go past that because I never really realized how deep it goes back.
Oh yeah.
I never because you don't. You know,
Yeah.
all the times we would go up there to visit,
Yeah.
we was up there playing basketball.
That's it. Yeah.
Or just like kicking it because we knew people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we never went past.
Nah.
You know,
nah,
like I've
deep.
always went past college in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Rutgers and all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, nah, it's so the apartments is up there on campus too. You ain't see where she was living in the apartments.
Mm-hmm.
But up top over there to the left a little deeper. And then bro, like you said, there's fields.
Yeah.
Like all the way in the back.
Right.
I forget what sport it is, but yeah, man. Yeah, it's a big
Oh,
it's a
you know
big
what's
campus.
crazy? I've never realized that that's the backside.
Yeah.
I've read that. No, I used to have to read the meter at the
All right,
field.
probably.
Yeah, you came through the apartments.
Yep.
And those apartments that's over there on the left, and you you kind of went through the tree, so you wouldn't.
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I just came from the other side, didn't realize it.
Yep.
That's all it was. Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, went through. You know what I mean? Was super lucky, like I said it before in there. Had an anonymous donor who paid for her junior and her senior year, so that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Salute to that person, man. You are truly appreciated. You know what I'm saying? So, but that was my weekend, man, and here we are, new week. And, we rocking and rolling. How was yours? You said it was
Good. Like I said,
nice.
When we got up out of here Thursday, it was 1911 Smokehouse in Willingboro, right there on Route 130.
Okay.
We was there. I was DJing.
Check him out. He's there on Thursdays, y'all.
Shout out to me, DJ Venom as well. Comedian DK, my brother, that's the host. Getting ready to get into some karaoke soon too for y'all. Y'all gonna love that. But yeah, pretty much. I was there Thursday, Friday. I turned down the gig because I had already gave you and sis my word that I was gonna be there.
Absolutely.
So I wasn't mad at that at all. I'm glad to see that. That was worth that. And then Saturday, Tabernacle Baptist Church had a fashion show. I was the DJ. First time I ever DJ'd there for them, and everybody had a good time.
Absolutely.
Seen a couple familiar faces, people I knew. So
absolutely, it's good.
Yeah, so it was good, man. Sunday, I was just, when you get a little older.
Mm-hmm.
You just start walking around and you be just tinkering with stuff in the house.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like remember Pop used to, little
Yep.
the little shit to push the wall. But so my little tinkering might be I go out and start messing with my DJ equipment a little bit, watch a bunch of YouTube videos, start trying stuff you see on YouTube. Like,
absolutely.
With that face, you looking like what's that? Yeah, that's what I did and came across some good stuff, man. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
So
yeah, well, ain't nothing like that, man. Like you said, man. At this point, man, in life, you get your little breaks. You do what you can do. Other than that, man, you just keep on pushing.
Right.
So that's a great thing.
But I wanna say this before because I know we get ready to jump into. If you're ready to, first question I was asked this morning when I walked into the job.
Okay.
100 men versus.
So I know what you want, and we're going to address it. So here's my thing about the 100 men versus a gorilla. First and foremost, everybody gonna have their own opinion. It's actually coming back a little bit closer than I thought it would be. Yeah, we can do it. We're not taking the strength of man. Listen, I think that y'all missing the point. Like I said in the video I made earlier, y'all act like y'all ain't see Planet of the Apes. Mm-hmm. See, somewhere in your mind that I think it's a numbers game, right? Mm-hmm. Ask yourself this, E. Think about this for half a second, bro. Why 100? Why did they start at 100 men versus one gorilla?
Because that's how strong.
Because you know how you know? Right. Exactly. E.
That's strong that gorilla.
We need to make that number at least reasonable.
Right.
Right? So we're going to start at 100. Because I'm thinking, we that bad, why we need 100? Well, we'll take 50 with a couple guns and baseball bats and knives. Why?
Yeah. If it's just all hands on punching,
we in trouble.
Yeah.
You heard what I said.
My boy said, he Q, man. He read somewhere another Q said, man, I think 100 Qs we can take him on. But we take
so I think once again the misconception.
He said he'd be least. He said the first 17 of them though.
Yeah.
Bow.
The part that's blowing my mind.
I'm number 34. I was dying.
So how you picking your number, right? So that's what I'm saying. So all right. So great point though.
That's what he said.
Right. So I seen one video on Instagram. It was this guy, man, white dude, and he was like, it was one of the little gorillas or whatever went and did something, and the big gorilla came out of the doorway and slid across the floor.
Yeah.
And he and the dude threw an elbow, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what the video picks up. He said that's what you do. You hit him with that first, and then you go ahead while he doing the electric slide coming across the floor. This, that, and the third. And somebody left in the comments, I guess we got our first sacrifice.
Yeah.
We know what dummy to lead out there first.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I have with this situation.
Right.
I think people be like, oh, man, you don't think 100 men could beat one silverback gorilla? I think y'all missing the point.
Right.
Because 100 men ain't going to survive.
Nah.
See, at some point or another, you got to ask what part of that 100 you in.
Yeah.
Are you in the last victorious half of that 100?
Because see, y'all still thinking it's just gonna be a fight.
Yeah.
And when you get punched, it's just all right, I lost.
Like you've never been punched by a gorilla.
That's what I'm saying.
But the first person that get punched, knocked smooth out, head half of it broke.
Yeah.
You got to ask them other 99 at what cost?
Yeah, like
and for free. Ain't nobody saying nothing about no money or nothing. You just want to know if you can do it.
Yeah.
It's like, that's crazy. A gorilla.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You ever heard them bang on their own chest?
If they live.
Ain't no body shots.
If they live.
Who? The people?
Yeah, if they live, they gonna have their face gonna be like Martin's on when he fought Tommy Hearns, man. For the rest of their life.
Somebody said in
rest of my life.
They said if it was 100 Mike Tysons in his prime that fought him.
It doesn't matter. Man.
I said it don't matter. Somebody in the comments said it's not about whether or not 100 Mikes in his prime can beat the gorilla.
Yeah.
That's not even where the issue is.
Yeah.
Because I think 40 Mikes in his prime will probably take care of the gorilla.
Yeah.
What we going to do with the other 60 Mike Tysons running around the world is the bigger question. Now you need more gorillas because you need somebody to be able to slow that down. So that's my thing. They say this question comes up every 2 to 3 years. Here's why I
never heard this shit day in my life.
Me neither.
Because here's my thing.
They be lying.
They say, who is they?
Who
is
they?
If
you ever figure that out, that will solve a lot of questions. They is very much.
Speaking of which, I was talking to Goose earlier today. We was talking about the year going to Vegas when COVID came. And I said, yeah, they getting ready to shut down Vegas. It looked like Vegas. He said, who was they? Because he was mad, man. Who was they? When I brought that up to him, he was like, yeah, I was upset, man.
Yeah.
But we never know who they is.
You don't even need to really be a person. That's what I'm saying.
It was still, but nah, I've never heard this question, and I'm not going to say they are lying. Mm-hmm. But my real question is, why this distraction? See, this is the same thing happened. Okay. Is this dress gold or blue? Remember that? The dress?
I remember that.
Yeah, go.
I remember that.
What happened? What was going on at that time?
It went down. Whatever they was trying to get off,
right?
They got it off.
Because they doing it.
Because we was worried about that. Yeah.
100 men were because you know why?
Yeah.
You know why? Somewhere it's probably a report showing that men are on social media more than women nowadays.
Yeah, I'm quite sure the analytics has got something.
And I believe it's like that because men found a place where they could talk sports.
Yep.
It's like a virtual bar.
Point. Yep.
It's like a virtual bar for them, bro. They like first of all, people who use Facebook, a lot of us use it wrong. Like if you're not in any groups on Facebook, then you're kind of using it wrong. Because the people of the groups are your interests. Okay. And then this is how you meet other people in your interests. Oh, okay. Like you with cameras and audio, video. If you get in audio-visual groups, you start to learn something. This is because all the groups did was take the place of what a blog was on regular. Remember when it was all handwritten blogs? Mm-hmm. So as a DJ, we used to hear about up-and-coming rappers in the hip-hop blogs. It wasn't no Shade Room website or, you know what I mean?
You're right.
You got in those blogs. So Facebook uses that. Like if you're into fishing, it's fishing groups. I'm in a bunch of DJ groups. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's again, audio-visual groups.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
Sports groups. Yeah. And then this is how you meet other people, and then this is how you start to connect with the energy you're trying to be around. Mm-hmm. You know?
Absolutely.
And we already talked about TikTok, how TikTok shop pretty much is like a virtual mall. When you really think about it, that's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because we get on these things and use them in a different way, but TikTok is just a virtual mode.
I agree.
I think more people be live on TikTok than any other social media platform at one time.
Yeah.
TikTok and of course YouTube is still there, but you understand what I'm saying?
Crazy.
But my point I'm out here making is when they put these type of questions out here to distract us, because this is spread across all social medias.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, probably Snapchat.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What they trying to do? Is it something with some tariffs or something? What is it? Is it
No, I mean, I think like you said, bro, it's that's what it was designed for.
What's the agenda?
To keep people occupied while you're spending money that they really don't have.
Yeah.
Trying to do things or buying things that really don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to think about everything that they sell on TikTok. They sell at a fraction of the cost that you can find it somewhere else.
Right.
So it's a marketing tool that people using obviously to do that. But I mean, I don't mean a distraction.
Yeah.
There's always an agenda that's in place.
We don't know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
My point is, we got to focus on what the biggest thing is attention.
Yeah.
They just try to distract our attention somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm not always saying it's some Twilight Zone spooky man stuff. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
Or is somebody trying to pull a fast one on us?
Yeah.
Like no, I'm just saying like when certain who just randomly said,
Come on.
100 gorillas versus,
Come on.
100 men versus
Come
one gorilla.
on.
And it just spread like wildfire.
Unless you work at the zoo, why would you even care?
Right.
Right? Scientists have proven that 100 men. Nobody. Let's dog. That's what I'm saying.
They don't care.
That's crazy. Right? And so for me and you, we'll laugh at it for half a second. Hey, what you really trying to do?
What you
over
trying
there?
to do over there? Man, what you got under your shirt?
And the narratives, right? Narratives can change so quickly too. You got something under there.
Remember when they trying to hide stuff
You
under
already
their shirt?
where you going?
Nah, P. Nah. You know what I mean?
I believe you, man. Who you was talking to over
It was
there,
always somebody bad, super bad, using school trying to steal chips out of their shirt.
Yeah.
At lunchroom, man.
Yeah. Hey, man. Hey, a lot of thieves, man, weren't the most intelligent people. You know what I'm saying? They just, they desire to have it. Made them jump out the window with certain situations. Now, I'm going to say this, man, in terms of the whole thing about distractions. We already know how it works, right? Mm-hmm. And then the narrative get flipped fast, right? So this week we talking about 100 men versus a gorilla. Yeah. Last week we was talking about how Shador Sanders got done dirty. Who got the number one selling jersey right now?
Shador Sanders.
Ain't that something?
Well, we knew that, though. But it's all his money because he's selling on his website.
Right. So now you're going to have a bunch of people to go, hey, was he a part of the whole agenda?
Hank.
Hank ain't had nothing to do with Shador.
Hank, no, though.
Nah, he might. It's a good chance. Well, now see, Hank is a good person you should be talking to about this gorilla situation.
Also highlighted weekend. It goes completely dark in the room. But next thing they're going to hear me, hey, Hank. You what I
Y'all
did?
gotta understand, man. He got this, man. I don't know. Since we was kids,
started laughing.
It was funny. It wasn't that it wasn't funny. I didn't say you wasn't funny. I just said you always was doing something crazy, like overhear that. You know what I mean? We was in the movies. You know what I'm saying? So
I
it's
got
just
the
like
fat pockets out there. That's crazy.
You know what I mean? But I think that he got the number one selling jersey now.
Right.
So now everybody feels a little bit different. It's like, all right. Ryan Clark made a great point. I guess I don't know. I guess it must have been the night of the draft. They did an episode of The Pivot or something. That they was there, and he was making a point about being humble.
Yeah.
And now he just got to come to work and show his being human and being humble and doing what he need to do to bring it. Wear his hard hat every day and bring it. Bring everything he got to bring to the field.
Right.
Once again, I think that what we got to remember is, especially nowadays and times, because there's so many ways to be able to get the information out. Things change fast, right? Things change fast. Guys that just went through the draft, but they already signed.
Yeah,
they done signed rookie deals and all that kind of stuff. Like all of that stuff we was talking about with Shador. You got some people that's already waiting on money that's hitting the bank. There's some lives already being changed, and we talking about that. A week later, we talking about 100 men versus a gorilla. That's the time we live in now. You know what I mean? We live in,
it's just going to always change.
It's just going to always change. You know what I mean? Not too long before that, we was talking about the situation with Shannon Sharp's situation is getting worse.
Yeah.
It's getting worse. That dude Busby or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Like, it's so many different things that he's coming up with, like, different video. I mean, as far as like phone recorded conversations, all this different stuff. Now,
Is it AI though?
I don't know. Excellent point, bro. And here's the thing: could it be? Quite naturally, yes, because there's enough of Shannon's voice around anywhere for you to be able to gather what you need to create that version.
Do it all. People do it all the time.
Now, I'm not insinuating that. Don't have any inside scoop.
I don't know nobody, so I don't.
But at the end of the day, I will say that it's crazy how it's coming out because the memes, they tearing him up. They had a picture of him when he was young, and they had a little girl. She was like that, almost a baby.
Yeah. They said. They said.
You sent it.
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
That weird sense.
Shannon Sharp's accuser's age.
Yeah.
And then 2005. Shannon Sharp, 2005. Yeah.
Now here it is. You know what I'm saying? Look at where we are with that. This is the same guy, man, who had one of the biggest interviews, on YouTube for a while. Now he's the guy right now, man. I don't know, man. Certain people kind of being careful. The world changes fast. I seen the thing earlier today. The Ravens released Justin Tucker. They found because of what's going on with that situation.
What did Shannon say no to?
What did he say no to? Oh, I don't know. That's a good one.
They diddied him fast.
Okay. I mean, that's one way to look at it.
Because you got to realize, you just said something.
What? He
had one of the biggest interviews, so the way the world works in the marketing world. Bro, he can live off that one video for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
I probably have how many views he had. We're talking about the Cat Williams interview.
Absolutely.
Right?
Not any question. Yep.
So he did this, then all of a sudden it's the fake go live. So that might have been a little sacrifice or something.
Shelly.
For something right there. My Shelly. Oh, that's my Shelly. Anyway. Then he was like, I was just, right after that, it was off those sparks. They started making that into a commercial. And now, they're trying to spiraling because he said, I'm not doing no more bullshit.
Yeah, bruh.
So, okay, you're not doing that? Leonard.
Hey,
Leonard. Get the tape.
Hey,
get the tape. Leonard.
Oh, you not doing that? Okay.
Leonard. Get the tape, Leonard.
Chill, Ragger. He is crazy, man. He wrote it out. He making an offer you can't refuse. Are you not doing that? like that. That's what he's waiting on. Okay.
Only on the porch.
That's it.
Only on the porch.
You know what's crazy though? Like you said, E, man, we could be up and our fall from grace be crazy.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, it's like a roller coaster. Shoom. Do I think he can bounce back from this? Yeah. Because I done seen things, I done seen people come back from worse situations. But in the same token, you be like saying to yourself, like, once again, like we talked about last week, it's like the pitfalls is crazy.
Yeah.
The pitfalls is crazy. Like I said, we looking at the situation with Shador. I'm telling you. Last week, he went from being a guy who, me being blackballed, man. The league is all operating. All 32 teams is conspiring against him. This, that, and the third. They still questioning the Browns. Because of the fact that they,
they picked the quarterback before him.
Which is crazy because how are you going to question me for drafting him?
Yeah.
There was 31 other teams that could have drafted him.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
But I get why they're questioning
That's
the
crazy.
Browns.
You got to get my eyes together. This is wild. He had me down off that one. Yo, go ahead, bro. Wow.
Yeah, nah. I'm telling you, bro. You got to pay attention. The powers that be going to do what they going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah.
I get it, though. I get it. I get a lot of this stuff, man. That's why I never really wanted to be a star.
Really?
No, I just want to live comfortable, man.
Yeah.
Just want to be able to do what I want to do.
I think the price of fame is expensive.
It's very expensive.
But I also think that, like anything else in life, if you smart and you move a particular, because you look at a person like LeBron, he may fall under scrutiny every now and then, but for the most part, man, he's dodged most of the things that you would see somebody at a certain level potentially have to, kind of endure to some degree,
Everybody had to deal with something, man. It seemed like
Everybody. And you know, so my thing is I don't think that there's a problem with being a star, but I think that there's a reality that you got to deal with as a star. I think you gotta see yourself run yourself a different way. You can't be out here acting like you're not. That's the part that I'm talking about. I think a lot of times that's why, because a person gonna look at what Shannon is alleged to doing and say to yourself, why you ain't get you just one person? You know what I mean? Do your 1-2, because you know how they moving around here, bro. You know, and he was out there living his life. This could have been all taking place. I think some of this stuff was actually taking place anyway before he kind of like really took off. And so now it's easy to pass judgment on those situations. Now, I don't know all the details about what they say he was doing, and I hear some things and stuff like that, but you know, once again, I think that we got to remember that once we start to, you know, ascend to the next level, we got to anticipate some of this scrutiny, man. We got to anticipate some of these things that's transpiring like that. And so, you know, I hope whatever's going on with that situation, like I said, you know, it all gets resolved. But do I think that he can snap back, bounce back, and be, you know, who he has been? Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I think people still like the show. They still like his content.
I'm not going to say that they're blowing something out of proportion, but
Please don't say that.
I mean,
if you blow it out of proportion, that's wild. Oh my God. Blew it out of proportion.
blew it Acapulco. So
Wow.
I'm not saying that, but it's been worse things.
Absolutely.
It's been worse things. Is it weird? Yes. But was she an adult? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the minor factors, now technically it's still, to me, it's still weird. You know what I mean? That gap is just too weird. But so, you know, but he, you know, that's whatever he into. Not judging him, man.
Sound like it. But
No.
but you're not. It kind of, you know, you saying how weird it was today.
No.
No, but you saying it's. I mean, a little bit. Like if I was him, I don't want to act like I'm him.
Like this one video I seen, he said, you know, he said, man,
like
he said Uncle Shannon Sharp, if he wanted to mess with somebody on OnlyFans, man, he could have called Cherokee the GOAT, man.
Right.
He could have. She a Hall of Famer. He a Hall of Famer.
Okay.
Like, come on now.
I see what's happening on the show here. So we just gonna go ahead and have fun with it.
Yeah.
So in the grand scheme of it, if that's what he doing, if he was paying to play, like you said, you know, why you not looking for somebody who understand that we paying to play?
Right.
Right? Is it like at the end of the day? Because like you said, bro, when you see some of these people, the women are you can tell they're younger. Look like they might be about, you know, maybe his daughter's age.
Right.
I don't know their exact ages and stuff like that.
Right.
I'm not passing judgment on him, even though it sounds like it. What I'm saying for the most part is at the end of the day, like, he likes what he likes. Mm-hmm. Yep. He likes what he likes already. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those things where you start to realize that if that's what you're going to play like, then just go ahead and, I'm not telling him to go ahead and buy no, you know, I don't want to say it, but you understand where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If that's what you're going to do.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, now you turn it around.
I'm not going to tell him how to spend his money.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to tell him that, I'm not going to tell him he wrong for doing what he was doing. But sometimes you have to think about what you do, like how this can be.
Yeah.
Because anybody can accuse you of age. See, I think that's what makes it different. It makes it worse.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
You know, you got some people literally, let's just say, they're going to say, why he messing with a white girl? They're going to say that.
They're going to do it.
Yeah.
It's the porch.
Why was it a young white girl?
Come on
now.
So that right there with that. Okay, all right, go ahead.
That's how they gonna look. That's how they gonna look at.
Right.
Look at everything anyway. Right.
Right.
So he has to say to himself, "Is it worth this?"
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna do really what I'm just trying to do. Where was Shelly?
So neither one of their names was. I was going to ask you that. I don't know.
I don't know.
But I don't know if either one of their names was that, and if it was one of them two. But what I will say is I agree with you wholeheartedly. Right. Because he was an athlete, even if he was new to the fame of being successful with the show,
right?
He wasn't new to the fame of being a star, like me and you talking about.
Right.
He wasn't new to being a star.
Right.
And he understands, at least I would assume that he understands that with being a star comes a certain level of, you know, vulnerability, right? You're going to be vulnerable. There's going to be people that's going to look at you as an opportunity. Now, granted, when the situation was first taking place, these ladies might have been totally on board with whatever was taking place because it may have been beneficial to them. Once again, I don't know. I know that once he became, a topic of discussion at a whole different level, now we get what we getting.
Right.
And so my only thing with all of that is that, like, you ain't just become a star.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Because you
ain't just become famous. But you should have knew a little bit better than that.
A lot of athletes, and I'm not saying this is him at all because I don't know, but a lot of athletes after playing, they blew a lot of money.
They did.
They didn't have that money.
It's misappropriating the money and not doing the right things with it. I got it.
Or some of them might just say, this is what I wanted to do with it.
It could be that.
Right?
It could be that. They got it how they lived, and they lived how they wanted to get it.
Exactly, right? So, they do that.
Yeah.
Then turn around, a lot of them go to a sports show.
Exactly. Yep. Become an analyst or something like that.
Because a lot of them major in communications when they're in school.
Yep. That is a common program.
Especially at their time.
Absolutely.
Nowadays, it's more like sports management and sports medicine.
Correct.
So people want to be agents or trainers.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, anyway, they study community. But then, very few break off from that and have their separate own thing to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like he did. You understand what I'm saying?
That's true.
Like Stephen A. did.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Because you got to think about it, bro. You had Jalen and Jacoby.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
You got LeBron who got his shows.
Yep.
Jeff Teague and them, they got their show.
Yep.
Podcast P.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
The Pivot.
Yep.
Like shows like all these athletes who turn around to get it.
Bunch of them. The joint with Shaq.
Right.
And I think Anthony Gargano, that's who that is. It's a bunch of them, bro. It's Micah Parsons and Darius Slay got one.
Right. The Kelsey brothers.
The Kelsey brothers have theirs. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a common thing.
So when you say it's a common thing, but when you get to the level that Shannon,
that's what I'm saying.
Got to.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that we already know he should have made different decisions. Yeah. We want to say that. He doesn't realize that he's special. They're like, even after playing, he was getting ready to get an NFL type contract.
Right. Yeah.
You gotta say to yourself, like, I know that it's
that's what I'm saying.
It's vampires out here. I know it is.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying to a lot of these athletes and people that were already stars, he was a single man, so it wasn't like he cheated on his wife or anything of that nature, right?
Yeah.
But you still gotta understand it's not always just about that part. It's about you can mess up your life even being single, bro. Like it ain't just You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where the mind that got to click in at.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, you just said it, bro. He's not new to the spotlight.
Right.
And because he's not new to the spotlight, even though he's living a single man's life, he's not out here, like you said, committing adultery. He ain't out here playing the field like, cheating on his wife or any of those type of things like that.
He technically is committing adultery because he's single, but let's...
Okay, fair enough.
Right.
But he's not out here cheating on his wife.
But the way you saying, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, he's not out here being, unfaithful in his marriage or anything like that.
I ain't judging him at all, though. I'm sorry.
I know. It just sounds like it. But we're not doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's a podcast. That's what you do on podcasts. You talk.
You cast on the pod.
That's what it is. Mm-hmm. One day you're going to look up and you're going to have a conversation that's uncomfortable. But if you can't do it on a podcast, what are you going to do with it? So my thing is this with it. Like you said, he's not new to being a star.
Right.
He was out there living a single man's life.
Right.
But he made some decisions that are now coming back, like you said, to kind of, put him in some uncompromising positions.
Right.
Does that mean that everything that you do, you got to always think about vampires when you're a star? Yes. The same things they were saying about Shador. They couldn't tell you nothing he was doing bad out there. So they had to create a false narrative that he was a hard person to get along with, or that he was a difficult person, seemed like he had arrogance about himself. We had to create something that you couldn't actually find identity
to
on.
a lot of stars, man.
A lot of them. A lot of them.
Was it? Which one was that? Was it Jacoby Dean? Or who was it? Not Jacoby Dean. Who from Georgia that was Jalen Carter?
We don't have nobody named Jacoby Dean on the team. Nakobe Dean. That sounds like a lawyer.
Nah,
The
Jacoby
Dean.
Myers. Yeah. Nah,
Yeah.
that's a commercial, Jacoby Myers. Give me a check. Listen,
Yeah. Go ahead. I ain't mad at it.
Yeah. So listen, what I was saying is no. Jalen Carter, who was the one who was involved with the accident?
Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Then you think of Joe Mixon.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
When he got spit on and he reacted.
Yep. Kareem Hunt. Yep.
Kareem Hunt. But I'm saying like right before the draft. I'm talking about before the draft. I'm talking about right before the draft. These all this was and my boy, right? Warren Sapp.
Yep.
The weed back then they were saying.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So
what about Ray Lewis?
No, Ray Lewis, he was in the NFL when all that was happening, wasn't he?
I gotta find out. Yeah. I gotta find out, but when the person wound up passing. Right. So it's a lot that that was crazy. Yeah. but point being made in that situation, if I'm on the outside looking it's always timing, but it's always something that's lingering when you're not mindful of what gift and opportunity that you have, you're more susceptible to doing things that leave you vulnerable.
Right.
That's the only thing that I'm saying. You don't think that there's people out there that wouldn't like to try to set up a lot of these different. We got people to eat. You got scammers that call your phone all day long, hoping that they can get pertinent information from you to do. You don't think there's people that's out there watching people that they know, that's celebrities or stars, and trying to figure out a way to get into it? This leads me to my next point. You got some stars out there who done figured it out. They done made a decision that they're going to act a little bit crazy, a little off, to prevent you from being able to put some smut on their name. Like, you look at a person like Jameis Winston. You got to work hard, eh? Yeah. Jameis is one of my favorite, I don't care about nothing that y'all think about me, NFL players. That's
people,
safe. Period.
People, period.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to think about it. When you see him, he look like he's enjoying life.
Right.
Yet you ain't never seen nothing about him being in a massage parlor. You ain't never seen nothing about him supposedly doing nothing.
Smart quarterback.
All
it was crab legs.
That's what I'm saying.
Nah.
What?
The Uber driver, the lift for the Uber driver.
What they say? Where's it at?
Yeah, no, he grabbed it by the coochie.
Where is it at?
No, that's all over social media still. I mean social media, but on the internet.
No, you know why they backed off? No, it happened.
Yeah.
You know why they backed? I'm telling you why they backed off.
I'm listening.
Go on.
Because he's gone.
I do enough after a while. I'm so wild. Kanye, I'm so wild that eventually, never mind, man. You're not even worth trying to entertain that. I'm not telling people to walk around here and do nothing crazy, like get a black KKK outfit or nothing like that and put it on and do an interview. What I'm saying to you is
you can't put nothing past them.
Look at the people.
Yeah.
The same dude, Bugsby or whatever his name is, the one that's dealing with the situation.
It's not weird for him.
Yeah, he's the same one that tried to go after Jay-Z.
Right.
Where did it go? Right. Gone. You only hear about it no more. And sometimes you get to certain levels of power. And you got to be able to, hold up, chill out and fall back a little bit.
Yeah, shut up.
So what I'm saying is as a star, like me and you both talking about.
Right.
You got to remember at the end of the day, man, if you don't protect your best interest, man, somebody's going to try something. Somebody right now is sitting around trying to remember the guy who's getting a contract. I guarantee you, somebody in the NFL right now who just got money to change them and their family's life, there's someone around who's waiting. I'm telling you, bro. They're sitting around. They may not say nothing negative, but like I said, we live in a day and time now where what they say don't even have to be true to be damaging.
What made Henry Ruggs do what he did?
I think Henry was just young. I think he got out there.
But I'm saying, like, was it somebody sent and came and said,
I mean, possibly.
I bet you can't drive down the street.
But you know what? When it comes to the young athlete, you don't even have to trap them if you really think about what I'm saying.
Because they're gonna do it anyway.
They gotta get the best way to set them up is to keep anybody with wisdom from around them. Mm-hmm. Anybody who can give them some pillars to hold on to or some things to be able some guidance and some direction. You just got to make sure you don't keep none of them type of people around them because they're young, they're experienced with life. They don't know how to be able to use a lot of things.
Look how the NFL works. Majority, when you look at the team, they always have that happening in one more than one, but the most important position was the quarterback.
Yeah, yep.
Because they're going to invest a lot of money. Into this quarterback.
Yeah. Most of your teams you're facing the team is the quarterback.
Right. So So with that being said,
Yeah.
it's like, all right, we got to get somebody that can help move.
Yeah.
this, you know.
Yeah. That's what it is, bro. It ain't rocket science.
Like Kirk Cousins. What he did for Mike. Like that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want to see Michael Penix twice.
Yeah. I mean, Mike's got talent. He's athletic. He's got skill set to be able to actually, stay QB1 for Atlanta. I mean, I don't think it's an experiment with him at all. I think he's the guy.
He's the guy.
I will say that, like you said, in terms of ability, on the field, I'm quite sure I haven't heard anything negative about him in the locker room. Mm-hmm. So I don't see why he shouldn't have, based on health, opportunity. If they put the right pieces around him, it could be a problem.
Very much so.
Problem. Feel the same way about Jaden Daniels in our league. Our division.
Because he got two. I forgot who was his receivers right now. Ridley's one.
Who?
Atlanta.
I have to go back and look.
But they got two good backs there.
They do.
Yeah, we know that.
So I like Bijan a lot.
So that opens up the pass game, and I don't care if you put
and
James Winston out there to catch the ball.
Right. And he'll go out there and try it, too. That's what I'm trying to say. You need one of them. You know what I'm saying? You need that. But, no, I think that, like I said, man, he has a lot of potential, and he has an opportunity.
Yeah.
They're going with him as one. He got to go out there and do it.
But, he started playing one at the end of the season last year.
So, that's the case with that. Hopefully these guys, like I said, man, make decisions to be able to stay out of harm's way with the other stuff. I don't worry about them on the field. That's easy stuff. Off the field is a little bit different because, like I said, bro, they don't have, to me, in my opinion, enough mentorship programs.
They don't.
Right? And it's tough and this is the part I was going to say before. When you look at a person, and I'm not talking negatively about this person at all, but if you look at somebody like John Morant's father, right? Just using him for an example. You keep looking at the stuff that John Morant keep going through. Mm-hmm. And you say to yourself, my goodness, how does he keep going through these things? But he's a star.
Right.
See, if he was subpar, average, not very good, the league wouldn't keep putting up with it. He going to keep people in the seats. Yeah. So you keep finding a way to keep him around, even though he may be doing things that don't look really intelligent on his part.
Right.
And I looked at his father. His father, I don't know him personally, but he looked more like his homeboy than his pop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The way he acts with him, the way he, is they have a great relationship. And, I'm quite sure some people will feel some type of way about me saying it that way. But I think that when you come into those situations, especially as a young man, you need a role model. You need somebody who can give you some advice, some sound things. Say, son,
like Shaq dad was.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? And see, Shaq's father was also a military man, very structured, very, very already, you know what I mean? And sometimes I think that's what happens. But it's tough because I watch some of these situations, bro, where the athlete all of a sudden becomes the person who is taking care of everybody. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of tough to tell him, son, don't do such and such and such and such when he making sure you eat. And so that's why I say you can't wait to, like we talking about this whole situation with the stars, you can't wait to become a star or, those who you have in your family become stars to try to, encourage them or shape their minds or to give them direction. You got to be consistently doing that.
Right.
Warning them about things that's coming around. Warning them about certain situations that could be pitfalls and run them into a problem.
That makes a lot of sense.
So that's what it is. And that's why it's unfortunate for Shannon.
You just said what you just said. And that's deep. You said they don't have enough mentorship programs.
They don't have enough, in my opinion, no.
I don't think they want them.
Well, they don't. This is what I'm saying. They don't want them.
Yeah, because you mess up.
Yeah.
We ain't got to pay you.
Yeah.
We ain't got to do this. We signed you to this big deal, get you all excited.
Yep.
You do something crazy and stupid. It's a clause in your, it's a thing in your contract to say you automatically lose this, you lose that.
Yep.
You lose an endorsement.
Yep.
So when they sign a person to a $250 million deal for Nike, Nike do a couple of the next, the back of their money, like, yes. Because what's the name look better anyway? We can give a flagship shoe to them now.
Yeah. It's a grooming.
It's a grooming.
And I'm going to tell you why I know it's a grooming. That's why they have NILs in college.
Yeah.
They were already grooming when they were young coming into the league. Now with these NIL deals, they're grooming them even younger.
Yep.
They're catching them even younger.
By the money.
Right? By the money. Mm-hmm. And so what I'm saying is because the money begins to influence their thoughts, their behaviors, the way that they move, they don't learn, right?
Like you're saying,
and they don't make wise decisions earlier because a lot of times, once again, you got to remember when we looked at draft night, we looked at just say round one, the first night, we watched 32 people come into a situation where they could change their families' lives. Mm-hmm. Various ages, they could have been anywhere from an average age of probably 22 to anywhere from 20 to 22 years old, just using that for an example. And you're talking about people that were going to make millions of dollars.
Right.
And these are people that at any other point, they had never had those experiences in their life to handle that kind of money. Now, they were already mentally being groomed to be rich. Right? To be successful. But not to be people who are underneath the microscope all the time because they're stars. They weren't groomed for that. So now you get that money, and now you're trying to get them to be mature, and they don't know because, they didn't have access to that kind of information. Not the money, but the wisdom that came along with the people who had that kind of money.
The closest thing to those type of mentorships, and people may not agree with me, in sports would have to be clutch sports.
Yeah.
Because when you get under Rich Paul and that team, most of them people don't get into it. They gonna have their stuff, but don't get into a lot. You know what I mean? And you got to remember when LeBron, he helped groom all his whole team.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? So that's the closest thing to it, that I see. And I'm sure there's other things we may be around, but I'm talking NBA now. But NFL, it's like they want them to fail.
Well, like I said, bro,
Yeah,
once again, it's a situation where you're being paid,
right?
You know what I mean, because of your ability to be able to keep people in the seats. Entertainment is entertainment.
Exactly.
It's just like news. Whether it's good or bad, it's news.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with when it comes to being, a star. It don't matter what you can be an actor. You can be an athlete. You can be any of these things.
Right.
Like as long, when it's time for it to be, in the public eye, they'll create a narrative. That's the thing. That's the thing that's always been something. It's like, it could be going great. And then all of a sudden you'll look up and the person that's in question, you be like, word? Like seldomly do you find out when you hear somebody's name that it don't shock you. Seldomly. You know what I'm saying? When they were saying everything they were saying about Diddy, everybody was like, I know, man. Watch all the people that come out the woodworks. Man, it was crazy. All these parties and all this other stuff. It'll all come out the woodworks, right? Puffin his 50s. But when you in your 20s, you ain't been around long enough to really experience a whole lot of life. So I got to make something that's so strong and powerful that I humble you and break you down and let you know that no matter how much of a star it is, you work for me. We gonna benefit you. We gonna benefit off of you. That's the way it's gonna move. So I just say to anybody, whenever you going into these situations, if you got somebody that you can, not groom in a negative way, but you can actually, help
influence
direct and influence in the right way, you do it.
Yeah.
Because stars are stars, bro. Stars, being on TV don't make you a star. A star is a person that shows up and everybody that watches them, they have a profound effect on what they do. That's what a star is. That's what a person is that's a star. It's a game changer and a difference maker. So if you're going to turn around and you see somebody that's around you and you can influence them in a positive way, don't leave it to the world to teach them.
Right.
Give them some insight. Give them some encouragement. You know what I'm saying? Tell them some things to look out for. It comes along with it. You know what I'm saying? In that way, at the end of the day, they'll be a better person for it. Yeah? Yeah, that may mean that they have live a little bit more of a secret, a quieter life. Maybe they can't go out to everything. Yeah, you should become selective once you become a certain, at a certain level in your life on certain things. You should.
Yeah, because you're an investment.
You're an investment. Right. And you are different now. People view you different.
Yeah.
You got to think about this, bruh. You can't win the lottery and be around your peers and not be viewed differently.
Right.
So what makes you think you could become a star overnight dealing with a draft or anything like that? And people not going to view you differently.
Right.
Every level has a new devil.
Yeah.
Every one of them. And so at some point or another, you got to get groomed to understand that. And if don't nobody tell you the things to look out for, you're going to wind up experiencing them things, unfortunately, in real time.
But that cane on that rabbit, man.
You know what I mean? Put that on that rabbit. Yeah. So, that's how that is, man. I don't know if you want to do some questions or something. Yeah.
This is a new episode of Questions, where P's going to ask me some questions, and then I'll have an answer for it. Let's go.
As he said, I'm going to ask him some questions, y'all. We're going to see. You know what I mean? If the questions is good enough, I may jump in and give my 2 cents on how I feel about it as well. He's been doing pretty good. So we're going, wow, I like how they did that. Just went ahead and took my questions off. Let me see if I can get them back.
Get them back. Get them
got
back.
him back.
All right.
Would you rather give up salt or sugar? Let me start you off slow.
Salt.
Rather give up salt.
I like a little sugar here and there. That's why.
Okay.
I don't really put salt.
Booger or just regular?
No.
I was asking.
Regular sugar.
Okay,
man.
regular.
Because ain't nothing I get a good piece of candy or something.
Okay.
But sugar's worse for you. Bro.
Would you rather be able to control water or fire?
Water.
Don't you kind of do that already?
Nah, I just collect.
Yeah. You already kind of do that, man. Okay. All right. If I had to pick one of the two, I definitely would say water. You know what I mean? Even though, fire could be a problem too. I'll control.
They both are. They're elements.
Yeah. Would you rather be half your height or double your weight?
Come on, man. I'm not answering
It's
that
would
question.
you rather?
That question.
And I guess he thinks that it's going to be stuff like all the time. Would you rather have maple syrup or strawberry syrup?
No, I didn't say that. No.
The objective is for it to be a tough question.
Man. If I double my weight.
Okay. It just sounds like you're picking one.
Right? No, if I double my weight, I can't move, man.
Okay, so then E.
And if you half my size, then I'm running around here looking like OC.
You gotta pick one, man.
Half my size, man. I can't half my height. I ain't doubling my weight, man.
Would you rather be granted one huge wish or 100 little wishes?
100 little wishes.
Okay. All right. Come a long way. You know what I mean?
What's your one huge wish?
I didn't say I would do that, but if I had to pick one huge wish is
Yeah, so you saying you gonna do that if you about to pick one?
No, see, the difference between me and you is I actually entertain your question the way you ask me.
Yeah, so
that's the crazy
part. So which
bro.
one for you?
So now I get back to my answer.
Yeah.
My one wish would be just total peace in the house. I'll make it easy. Just total peace in the house.
I like that.
You know what I mean? Everything else requires something different to be going on. You know, if I wish for, infinite resources and all that kind of stuff, which is great, that would be cool. It seems common. Maybe if I had
peace is it.
You know what I mean?
That's what I would love to see. But if I had 100 little wishes, I'll use them like coupons.
Would you rather be stronger than average or smarter than average?
Smarter. Work smarter, not harder. A lot of people that are strong tend to be.
So you think you're average
so
now?
It depends on the strength.
It
depends on the type of strength we're talking. I know you. I know this.
Go with it. Go with it.
If we talking physically strong, then I just double smarter. But if it's like strong and actually handling hard times and stuff like that, that's a different type of question. But
handling hard times.
He want me to entertain that so bad, man. This dude crazy.
How's he handling hard times?
Leonard. Come get him, Leonard.
Hey, don't come get me, Leonard. Be careful. He handling hard times around here, man.
Yeah. Nah, but smarter. 2 times smarter, because the saying is work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. All right, so would you rather live next to a huge stadium or to an airport? I think we touched on that before, but
I think I rock with the stadium.
I like the airport because I like to roll.
It's easy to roll, but you living there, you gonna always find a different way how to go. I like the stadium because 9 times out of 10, if that's my team, every Sunday.
Yeah,
I know where I'm going to watch the game. Man.
See, I be feeling like the other way though, like the traffic would be crazy, like moving around.
It probably will be, but
I mean, I guess you got a trade off.
But it probably will be on both, in both places. But I get what you're saying. It's only going to be real bad when it's a big event. You know what I mean?
That's true.
But you get used to it too. You'll start to say, okay, I got to bust a move at this time. I'm trying to get on this side of town. You know what I mean?
Right. I agree.
But I'm gonna be honest, just to speak on like when I went to the Bucks and Eagles game in Tampa, man, we thought the move was to go to the game, and then catch a lift in the Uber back. Man, it took like 2 hours for them to get a lift to us.
Would you rather have eyes that could film everything or ears that could record everything?
Well, our ears kind of do record everything. So you saying I could play back?
Yeah. Let's do that.
No, you understand what I'm saying?
Let's do that. They didn't give me enough detail to say it, so I'm going to say yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I don't want you to think you didn't. Like, no, I ain't trying to, like, yeah, I didn't say it, but that's
no, man. I don't know. I mean, video killed the radio star, but we all know that a good video ain't good without good audio.
I agree. If I had to pick one between the two, I would go with the eyes recording.
Yeah,
because you know how they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. If I can see it, and record everything I see,
I can know what they're talking about.
Exactly,
because my energy gonna be with it.
Exactly. Would you rather lose a finger or have a headache every day for the rest of your life?
I just go ahead and get my pinky, man. Because I can't have a headache every day, man. That's miserable shit, P. Like, come on, man. At the same time, I can still scratch.
Would you rather never age physically or mentally?
I like the shape that I'm in. And I kind of have a thing. I kind of had this feeling of when you physically are in a good shape and you keep it up like that.
Yeah. Keep it up.
It does your mental anyway.
Yeah. It has to do
it. Yeah. What?
Good shit. You want to keep it up. You got to do what you're mental.
Yeah.
That's what you into. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I'm saying physically, I would like to look. I wouldn't want to age past this.
No.
You on some bullshit.
Would you rather lose all your memories since birth or be unable to make new memories?
Come on, man. Now you like.
I'm not nothing.
Now you Twilight Zone Alfred Hitchcock shit. Murder, She Wrote.
You're a married man, but I'm going to ask you this question anyway.
All memories since birth?
Since birth or not be able to make new memories. Now, I take that different. When a person says you're not...
because I can't make new memories.
What does that mean then?
My life is stuck.
Or over. You know what I mean? I'm looking like, yo, if I'm here... Yeah. You just got to forget everything when I was a baby, man. You can't
tell me...
you don't remember it anyway.
No, bro. Everything since you was a baby. That means I wouldn't even be able to remember mom.
No, but
like I'm not about to do that.
Yeah,
but then at the same time, I can't create new stuff with my wife.
And there's only one way that you're not creating new memories.
You dead.
You gone. That's what I'm saying.
Or it ain't there.
Yeah, man. Oh my God.
Scarecrow, man.
This is crazy.
Looking for some brain.
Okay, you're a married man, but we're gonna entertain it just as if you weren't. Nothing weird and wild. Love you, sis. What I'm saying is that if you had to, would you rather audition for The Bachelor or Love Is Blind?
I always thought it was kind of weird, but the more I watch it, you know what I mean? I catch them. I'll be on the Love Is Blind.
I've never seen them.
Never seen them?
No.
I'll give you a quick rundown of how it go real quick.
It sounds like one of them is blind date-ish type. And the other one is The Bachelor. You trying to see which one of the...
So The Bachelor is just like a glorified Flavor of Love.
Yeah.
Love Is Blind. You literally, they got the women standing one side.
Yeah.
The men stand the other side. And then they go in rooms.
I think I did.
And you're talking to them through the room, but you can't see their face. I think I did see
something like that.
And then you talk with a couple people. Then you try to meet them again, and you try to date. And then
so which one did you pick?
That one.
So I'm gonna say that one.
Because I like communication,
and I'm not good at that multiple entertainment, like trying to entertain it. I'm not. It's not going.
You talking about as a bachelor?
Yeah, The Bachelor.
Yeah.
Because my attention span is not like, you know what I mean.
Well, Love Is Blind.
Let me see what you say today.
Love Is Blind.
But if I never see you, I can't develop that visual. Not to be funny. You go in room one, right? And room one is just not your speed. Yeah. Right? The conversation is cool, but you can't see this person.
Right.
But they're just not your type, whatever you want to say. I don't know that. So I'm building everything I'm building off a conversation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, not to be funny, but on The Bachelor, if you look up, bro, and you see a person that's just like, they walk in the room and it's like, it don't even matter if they got whatever going on.
Yeah.
I'm not interested. So I just think for me, if you want the show to go on, let me just be on Love Is Blind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I ain't gonna need no audition. I'm going to need talking. You know what I mean? How you doing? You know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with that one. I'm gonna go Love Is Blind. Mm-hmm. Okay, last one.
Watch it though if you ain't bored.
Yeah, I will. Would you rather be more attractive than your partner or have your partner be more attractive than you?
My wife look better than me.
I'm going to go with you in that situation as well, brother. You know, my wife looked better than me. Yeah. That was the whole objective.
That was it. Yeah.
When I found her, I was not looking for me. Nah. So there it is. You know what I'm saying? So, you know. Yeah, it really ain't much to it. I mean, that's really about it. You know what I mean?
And we're out of here.
Yeah.
Just stop the beat. Yeah.
Hey, man, as we say each and every week, let them know where they can find us, bro.
You can hear us on all your favorite podcasts and streaming sites like iHeartRadio,
Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Stitcher, right? Stitcher. You know what I mean? Audible.
Red
Circle. And wherever else you've been getting all your favorite podcasts and streaming. So, where can they find us each and every week on video?
Oh, they can see us each and every week on our YouTube page at The Porch.
Channels on this, no pages.
YouTube channel, The Porch Brothers, The Porch 30.
As we say each and every week, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate you.
Yes.
This has been episode 201, y'all.
That's right.
We thank y'all for tuning in. We look forward to seeing y'all on the next one. Y'all be safe, man. Go out there and leave them gorillas alone, man. They ain't bothering you. Don't bother them. All right. Oh, man. Peace, fam.
Peace, y'all. Peace.
Who on the porch? Let's go.